It was
Will you help me tell the next part of the story?
and beautiful ruler of Pixie Hollow. Some said she was older than the seasons themselves. Today, she had come to observe a most wondrous tradition, the arrival ceremony, where new fairies learned their names and talents. Little did the new fairy know that her arrival ceremony would be very unusual indeed. We must find 10 golden pedestal mushrooms. They'll hold the talent symbols during the ceremony. You found one! Well done. There's another, and another. The hummingbird's eggs were missing, and she was so confused that she was trying to hatch a mushroom. Can you find her eggs? That might come in handy later in my story. That's one of the sproutlings Tink woke up. Did you know that sproutlings grow into beautiful flowers on the mainland? The hummingbird's eggs were missing, and she was so confused that she was trying to hatch a mushroom. Can you find her eggs? How curious! Perhaps you should come back to it later. The crystal, it was too dark to see what might... A workshop! But Tink had no ideas for inventions just then. The hummingbird fluttered straight to her eggs and settled down with a happy chirp. Aha! You found all 10 mushrooms for the arrival ceremony. Thank you very much. Shall we continue? The new fairy watched in awe as the queen enchanted the mushrooms. The ceremony was about to begin. You'll have to discover Tink's talent before I can tell you any more. So many talents, so many paths and possibilities. Would she be a water fairy who could string the most delicate of dewdrops on spider webs? Or perhaps an animal fairy who could talk to any creature in Neverland? Or surely she would be a storytelling fairy who could tell tales taller than the tallest of trees. There were so many ways to fly. The symbol of the music fairies. That must be hers. No, that wasn't right. Perhaps she would belong to the Light Fairies Guild. The new fairy thought perhaps she would call the symbol of the fast-flying fairies her own. Alas, no. As the new fairy reached out toward each talent symbol in turn, they faded beneath her touch. Except for one, the Tinker's Hammer. The new fairy took hold of the hammer, and it glowed as bright as 1,000 fireflies. Finally, the ceremony was complete. The new fairy had earned her name, Tinkerbell. Queen Clarion told Tink that she had come to Pixie Hollow at a most wondrous time. Fairies of all talents were preparing for the changing of the seasons. Soon, the nature talent fairies would travel to the mainland, where they would transform winter into spring. Tinkerbell couldn't wait to help bring spring to the mainland. Will you help me tell the next part of the story? You see, the entrance to Queen Clarion's council chambers has been blocked by a giant hibiscus flower. The hibiscus flower looked a bit wilted. Tink noticed crystal torches arrayed all around it. Maybe, just maybe, If light were shining on that hibiscus flower, it would bloom upward and out of the way. Tink had an idea. She wrote it down on a piece of leaf parchment, but her thoughts were all jumbled up. As she rearranged her plans on the page, Tink wondered whether her idea would work. At last, Tinker Bell had straightened out her plan, but she still needed to put it all together. She stepped into a cozy little tinkering workshop packed full of spare parts from old projects. She soon discovered you couldn't attach a part to just anything. Everything had to go in order. Tinkerbell wasn't ready for that piece yet. Good idea, but Tink needed to connect something. Tink didn't need that piece just then, but she knew it would come in handy soon. Tink picked up the piece, then decided to put it back. She'd attach it soon. Finally, Tink's invention was complete. All she had left to do was light the torches around the hibiscus flower. Unfortunately, Tink's gadget wasn't strong enough to make the flower bloom on its own. With a flicker and a flash, the first torch began to glow. With a glimmer and a gleam, the second torch began to glow. With a blink and a blaze, the third torch began to glow. Unfortunately, Tink's gadget wasn't strong enough to make the flower bloom on its own. One torch was missing its crystals. Will you help find them? Excellent! Perhaps one torch was missing its crystals. Will you? There's one of them. Good job! Nothing happened. Tink made some adjustments and tried again. wonder if anything might be hidden inside this knot. Well done! Those are all of the crystals. Tink flew back to the torch and put each one in place. With a shimmer and a sparkle, the last torch began to glow. The light from the torches made the flower grow stronger. Tink was very proud that her invention had cleared the way. Maybe she could make more fantastic things for Tinkers to use on the mainland. But what Tinker Bell did not yet know was that Tinker Fairies didn't travel to the mainland for spring. They did their work in Pixie Hollow. Finally, it was time for Queen Clarion to depart. She smiled at Tink and then gazed out into the boughs of the pixie dust tree. "Come forward, Tinker Fairies," said the Queen, "and meet the newest member of your talent guild, Tinker Bell."